Okay, so welcome back to another video on the Relax Kingdom with Delissa. And today we are going to be doing reaction to the brand new Star TV video. Hang on, sorry about that.
If you don't like me, I'ma do what I want, yeah, I hope you see. I don't give one fuck what you think about me, cause the haters keep on hating anyway. Fuck you if you bring me down. You don't like me, you can leave my house, so I just don't care what you think of me now. The haters keep on hating anyway.
Okay, anyway, welcome back to another video with your beautiful host and your beautiful girl Delissa. And this morning we will be doing a reaction to the brand new Stardew video, and this one will be Stardew. The Devil Stairwell's father, Stardew. Okay, let's see and find out what this will be about. And I assume he really does, and well, that makes sense. Anyway, okay. So without further ado, let's see if this works. Hang on.
The devil!
Okay. Okay, never mind, it works. Okay. Without further ado, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you want me to react to next on the Reacts Kingdom with Lisa. And 3, 2, 1, let's see and find out what this will be about.
The devil still wears Prada. Now that the sequel to the quintessential fashion film is finally here, it's time to talk about the original. Was the Devil Wears Prada actually on trend, or were we sold a bunch of cerulean-colored lies?
Well, it goes both ways, honestly. Everything honestly goes both ways.
Find out. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Style Theory, the show that is still coveting those Chanel boots. I can't help it. I need them. It will come as a surprise.
Yeah, we know you do, Amy. We know you do. I do too. Hey, they look cute. No care.
Surprise to literally no one that The Devil Wears Prada original is one of my favorite movies of all time, and is arguably one of the most formative movies for a whole generation of fashion lovers. The memorable characters, the banger soundtrack, the clothes, a perfect movie. The Devil Wears Prada, based on the novel of the same name, is the story of aspiring journalist and fashion novice Andy Sachs, who lands a job working as the assistant to the editor-in-chief of the fictional fashion magazine powerhouse Runway. Listen, this movie is why I decided to intern at a magazine house when I graduated from college.
Well, yeah, that would make sense.
But no, my experience wasn't anything like Andy's, which we'll get to. Yeah, not everything that we see on the silver screen is true to life. So that begs the question, was the fashion world of The Devil Wears Prada real or just a lie? Is this what the fashion elite really wore around 2005? Was this what it was actually like to work at Vogue and other major fashion magazines? And does this film accurately show how influential these magazines actually were?
Please bore someone else with your questions.
Gird your loins, theorists, because we are about to dive into fashion hell to find how influential or around 2005 was this what it was actually like to work at Vogue and other major fashion magazines? And does this film accurately show how influential these magazines actually were?
Please bore someone else with your questions.
Gird your loins, theorists, because we are about to dive into fashion hell to find out if The Devil Wears Prada was on level or just a complete closet full of failure. What better place to start than with the true star of the movie? The clothes. Duh. What?
Duh. And that's no good.
You think we're here for the actors? Ugh, honey, we are here for the fits. Throw a fit. From Coco Chanel jackets to Jimmy Choo shoes, and yes, even some Prada handbags, the characters didn't just talk the talk when it came to high fashion. They walked the walk. Huh, I guess that's why it's called runway. And these were not
Yeah, that would make sense. Because of the name of
knockoff costumes either. These were actual designer pieces that the actors were allowed to wear. The famous gray Prada handbag that Miranda holds during her grand entrance, yeah, that was actually a real Prada bag from their 2005 collection that costs, get this, $1,445 American dollars.
Okay.
And that's in 2005 money. But that isn't even the most expensive piece from the film. Andy's
That's tough though.
Azurel ivory coat cost a cool $2,000, and many of Miranda's iconic coats cost upwards of $25,000 or $30,000 a piece. And yet, despite those price tags, none of these qualify for the most expensive piece on this set. That honor goes to this random necklace worn by Miranda Priestley in the movie. This thing cost $100,000. $100,000 for this necklace. That is a down payment on a house. But not only did it come with a hefty price tag, it came with a hefty piece of lore. This Egyptian-style necklace wasn't actually a modern piece. It was from the 1870s. Supposedly, it was made as a gift by King Edward VII for his mistress, actress Lily Langtry. Of course, that's just a rumor. An adultery rumor. Adultery is actually not a joke. Please don't cheat on your partners. Have open, honest conversations and consent always.
That's true.
Honest conversations and consent always. Regardless, the piece eventually made its way into the collection of New York jeweler Fred Leighton, who later loaned out the necklace for actress Meryl Streep to wear in the movie. And yet, despite all the luxury coats, stunning heels, and six-figure necklaces, the actual budget for the entire movie was just $100,000. Yes, $100,000. Hold up, because that math is not mathing. Keeping up with style trends is hard and expensive, unless you do it with our sponsor for today's episode, Halara. We've talked about Halara on the channel before, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fan of so many of their styles. And right now, I have been living in their active
Okay.
dresses. Not only are they cute, they fit like a glove while still staying comfortable. And that is because Halara is asking its customers to help them design the perfect fits. The Halara Circle program brings customers into their inner circle to give feedback on products and help shape the future of their designs. Their philosophy is simple: made better together. Halara believes that products are improved through collaboration, and that means you. When you join the Halara Circle, you get to share your real-life experiences, and then Halara will listen and use your feedback to improve their products. And this isn't some kind of one-off promotion. It's a commitment to better quality and to you. When Halara released its Softly Zero Backless Active Dress back in 2023, 14.8% of customers said that they wanted better bust support. So, in 2024, Halara re-released the dress with some updates. The new version had reinforced bra cup structure and wider shoulder straps for a secure yet stylish fit. And you know what? That dress is now my go-to when I want something easy to throw on and need to trust that I will look cute and feel supported all day long, no matter where I go. Plus, it has pockets. Yes, you know that I love a functional deep pocket. I also love the lavender smiley dress. It is so cute, and the longer skirt is so unique and gives me a completely different silhouette. You can help shape the future of Halara by clicking the link in our description and joining the Halara Circle. And
Also, if anyone wants to click the link in the description, this original video will be in the description. If you don't feel like reacting, if you don't feel like watching our reactions, please watch our reactions though. We work hard to please you guys, and that's no cap, guys and girls. Okay, yeah.
As a bonus, you can get 20% off any full-priced items by using my code THESTYLE at checkout. That's code THESTYLE at checkout for 20% off any full-priced items. Thanks again to Halara for sponsoring this episode. Now back to the video. While the wardrobe featured in the movie totaled a little over $1 million, the actual costuming budget was just a fraction of that cost. But how? Costume designer Patricia Field, who had previously worked on shows like Sex and the City, leveraged all of her connections in the fashion industry to borrow as many pieces as she could get her hands on, so that runway could feel as glamorous as it should. Look,
Well, yeah, that's true.
without her, The Devil Wears Prada would have been a whole lot less, well, Prada. Okay, enough about the costs. How well did these carefully curated luxury items do at actually showcasing the aesthetic of the mid-2000s when the movie is set? Let's start with the person whose closet changes the most over the course of the movie. Our leading lady, Andy. Whether it's her coworkers over at Runway or her, best friends, everyone lets Andy know how bad they think her style really is. But was it really that bad? The first time that we see Andy, she's wearing a white dress shirt underneath a light blue sweater with a tan overcoat and dress pants with some chunky black heels. Well, yes, that is
Okay.
a lot of color mixing going on. Back in 2005, if you saw someone walking down the street in this kind of business casual chic, you probably wouldn't even clock it. But if you're interviewing for a job at a world-renowned fashion magazine, you might be a little bit underdressed. Still not a fact.
Well, honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in reality. You gotta live life how you live life. In the way that you want to live life. Okay.
Fashion crime. And the same is true for most of Andy's pre-makeover outfits. I know, shocker. We were all sold on the lie that she was out of touch. While they are simple and casual, the striped dress shirts and cable knit pullovers are perfectly fine everyday pieces. Honestly, the only look that really stands out as missing the mark is this combo of a blue sweater.
That sweater is not just blue, it's actually cerulean.
What I meant to say is the combo of the
Yeah.
cerulean sweater paired with a knee-length argyle skirt and black tights. Yeah, this outfit wasn't it, but it might be now, at least according to actress Meryl Streep, who has been wearing this cerulean sweater in recent interviews. But I'll let you decide. Tell me, fashion failure or fashion forward? Then Andy's fashion gets an upgrade, all thanks to Nigel, played by everyone's favorite Stanley Tucci. Out go these so-called frumpy sweaters and skirts, and in come the Jimmy Choos, the Dolce, and, according to Nigel, some desperately needed Chanel. Andy ends up wearing dozens of outfits throughout the rest of the film, but overall, her outfits were very on trend for the mid-2000s aesthetic. The polka dots, the bedazzled butterfly tops, the chunky waist-defining belts. I feel like
The Mandalorian will die tomorrow.
The old protect the young. And then the young protect the old.
I feel like I've just been sent through a time machine straight back to the early aughts. Heck, Britney Spears and Paris Hilton both wore similar Parisian-inspired outfits with berets, just like Andy. But the real style icon of the movie is actually Andy's coworker, Emily, played by Emily Blunt. And this is the moment that I realized that they share a name. How did I never notice that before? I've seen this movie so many times, and I've never clocked that.
Hey, you learn stuff every day, no
That
kid.
Emily shares a name with Emily? Was that on purpose? Was it an accident? Emily was the definition of chic, layered looks, classic silhouettes, and she even managed to sneak in some Vivienne Westwood, a girl after my own heart. Emily is said to have been inspired by Plum Skies, a British writer and assistant who worked for American Vogue around the same time as the film was set. Don't believe me? Well, Just listen.
The clothes that people wear here in the day are probably clothes that normal people would wear on their most glamorous night out of the year. Do you know what I mean? Who's going to go and wear a chiffon Dolce & Gabbana skirt like this to the office?
Not only does she sound like Emily, she also wore a few iconic outfits that clearly match the character as well. But of course, no analysis of The Devil Wears Prada would be complete without the titular devil herself, Miranda Priestley, played by actress Meryl Streep. In total, Meryl Streep wears roughly 60 unique outfits throughout the entire film, and every last one of them invokes power, style, grace. She is Miranda Priestley. She doesn't wear things because they're fashionable. They are fashionable because she wears them. And while doing this deep dive, I started to notice something really interesting. Out of all of the characters in the movie, Miranda is the one that feels the most timeless. Whether this was intentional or not by the costume designer, Miranda's outfits don't stick strictly to what was hot and trendy for 2005. Instead, her looks draw inspiration from Donna Karan pieces from 1987, as well as looks from Michael Falbracht. As a fashion editor, Miranda more than anyone knows just how quickly trends come and go, and that if you dress to chase trends, you are going to be the one that ends up looking dated in the long run. So when it comes to the accuracy of the fashion itself, does The Devil Wears Prada get a
Yep. Okay.
runway or a run away? It's safe to say
Well, yeah.
that the clothes in Devil Wears Prada were very accurate to the high and low fashion looks of the early 2000s, earning it a point in runway for level 1. On to level 2. How true to life is Andy's experience? I mean, could an aspiring journalist with no fashion knowledge whatsoever actually get a job as the assistant to the editor-in-chief of a major fashion magazine? You know, the job that the movie tells us 1,000,000 girls would kill for? Well, let's ask the author of the book the movie was based on. Prior to writing her New York Times best-selling book, Lauren Weisberger was, get this, an aspiring writer who ended up landing a job as the personal assistant to the editor-in-chief
Well, that's nice.
of American Vogue, Anna Wintour. I guess the aspiring journalist to fashion magazine assistant pipeline does actually exist. You know what, Siri? Note that down. We need to remember that. But what about the actual job? How well did the movie represent what that would be like? According to people who have worked at fashion publications, when asked about whether their experience is similar to that of Devil Wears Prada, which yes, they do get asked about all the time, the movie does get the basics of the day-to-day aspects of Andy's job pretty spot on. Like any assistant job, a fashion editor's assistant is going to be expected to get coffee, answer the phones, and take down notes during important meetings. And like we see in the movie, much of a fashion magazine's calendar centers around the big fashion shows that happen all over the world. However, Andy's work isn't all sunshine and rainbows and expensive clothes. She does work with some people who have some big personalities, to put it politely. So if the representation of the job itself was pretty accurate, does that mean that all of the people in the fashion industry are actually jerks? Well, not quite. Like any job, there are going to always be people that are hard to work with, but not everyone is quite as extreme as Miranda Priestley. According to Lauren Caruso, a former site director over at Stylecaster,
It's not nearly as catty as it was portrayed. You end up spending more time with your coworkers than you do with your actual family, so they become like family. Hell, some of my former coworkers are like family now.
as the movie states multiple times, and as we said before, 1,000,000 girls, or people in this case, not just girls work in fashion, 1,000,000 people would kill to have this job. I mean, they made a whole season of Glee for Kurt about this, so obviously it's a big deal. And in real life, the people who actually get these jobs are pretty incentivized to be good to work with, aka if they're a jerk, their career could be over. I'm looking at you, Emily. Chill. But that's not to say
Yeah.
that there aren't people in the industry, especially people in positions of power that don't end up living up to the devil in Prada stereotype. Remember Anna Wintour, the person that the author of the original book worked under? Well, she's kind of a big deal in the world of fashion, having served as editor-in-chief of American Vogue for 37 years, and only just stepping down in 2025, which does make her the real-life version of Miranda Priestly, potentially in more ways than one. Allegedly, Anna Wintour has a reputation that, shall we say, precedes her. I mean, there are reasons that she has earned nicknames such as Nuclear Winter. Now, to be fair, the author has said that when it comes to the character of Miranda Priestly, quote, nothing was based on Anna Wintour. Listen, all of us probably understand how women, when they own their power or their skills, can often be cast in a bad light where their male peers would not necessarily be. And it's important to note that no one here at Theorist actually knows Anna Wintour, that I know of. Even Meryl Streep has said that she intentionally steered away from emulating Anna Wintour. In fact, according to recent interviews, she has said that her Oscar-nominated version of Miranda Priestly was not based on Wintour at all, but on a fictional person that would exist if Mike Nichols and Clint Eastwood had a baby. But while the portrayal of Andy's job is pretty spot on, and the colorful cast of co-workers is exaggerated but not fully off the mark, there is one thing that is very inaccurate in this movie. The idea that a second assistant to the editor-in-chief could just walk into any fashion closet in the building and take whatever she wants. Girl wouldn't just be fired, she would be arrested. Even if we assume that Andy was buying her own pieces and not, borrowing from the fashion closet, what assistant is paid enough that they could afford clothes from Chanel, Hermes, and Prada while also splitting New York City rent prices with her aspiring chef boyfriend, who sucks, by the way, and may just be the true villain of this movie, but we don't have time to go into all of that. And so, while the grind of the job is more or less accurate, the level of personality that we see is very exaggerated. And sorry to crush every fashion girlie's dream, the fashion closet is not a free luxury shopping center, which means that this level is going to get a runaway from me, bringing us at a score of 1 to 1 going in to level 3.
So show me how you do it.
Besides the clothes and the workplace, there's a whole other level to this movie that a lot of people tend to overlook, and that's its portrayal of fashion's influence over the world at large. For better or worse, fashion has a reputation for being a bunch of elites in a room making arbitrary decisions about what's in and what's out. And it turns out that, to some extent, that's actually true. Back when the movie was made, fashion magazines like Elle and Vogue were monumental in not only setting the tone for high fashion, but public opinion on fashion at large. However, you don't just have to take my word for it. Miranda actually explains this concept perfectly in what is arguably the best scene in the entire film.
You think this has nothing to do with you. You go to your closet and you select, I don't know, that lumpy blue sweater. What you don't know is that that sweater is not just blue, it's not turquoise, it's not lapis, it's actually cerulean. You're also blithely unaware of the fact that in 2002, Oscar de la Renta did a collection of cerulean gowns, and then cerulean quickly showed up in the collections of 8 different designers. And then it filtered down through the department stores and then trickled on down into some tragic casual corner where you no doubt fished it out of some clearance bin. And it's sort of comical how you think that you've made a choice that exempts you from the fashion industry when in fact you're wearing a sweater that was selected for you by the people in this room.
This is the trickle-down effect, which states that whatever the tastemakers and fashion elites of the world wear will eventually trickle down to the masses, aka you and me. I wonder who wore this. Let's let's do a thought exercise. Put yourselves in the shoes of a fashionista circa 2005. If you wanted to know what the latest fashion trends were, magazines like Vogue or the fictional Runway were pretty much the only fashion resources that you had. This meant that the Anna Wintours and Miranda Priestleys of the world were actually the tastemakers setting trends for everyone else. Because at the time, there were no influencers or creators, no one to share the space and make a statement. The decisions made in those morning meetings and the deals that they struck at every fashion week would have real, tangible influence not only on the world of high fashion, but the entire clothing industry. Or at least they used to. Over the last 2 decades or so, the world of fashion influence has been torn down and completely rebuilt with new management. And it's all thanks to a little app that you might know called Instagram. Today, you don't even need to be an editor, an assistant to the editor, or even have a job in fashion to be able to influence what's in and what's out of style. Instead of buying the latest copy of Vogue or Cosmo, you can open Instagram or TikTok and find hundreds of thousands of people ready and willing to give you outfit inspiration and styling tips.
That's true.
And Instagram hasn't just changed the fashion world that we live in, it seems to have affected the fictional world where Andy, Miranda, and Emily all live. As I'm recording this episode, The Devil Wears Prada 2 is not yet in theaters, but early trailers and behind-the-scenes photos have shown that some of the looks from the new movie look a little... how do I put this? They look very Instagram, and not in the good way. I mean, this is Runway we're talking about. They don't follow trends, they set them. But before we boycott the movie over these outfits, there is one thing to consider, and that's the fact that these looks appear to be intentional. In the sequel, Runway is no longer that central gravitational force in the world of fashion. The plot centers on print media's struggle to keep up with the rapidly changing social media landscape. And that social media influence seems to have also bled over into the fashion that we're seeing in the sequel. But as far as the movie is concerned, in a pre-smartphone, pre-social media era, they did a great job representing just how influential a publication like Runway would actually be. Therefore, for our final level, The Devil Wears Prada will be getting a point in Runway for its portrayal of fashion influence, putting our score at 2-1. Listen, the writer behind Devil Wears Prada did their research and knows what they're talking about. Now, I have a movie to go see, so I'll leave you with the immortal words of Miranda Priestley herself.
That's all.
But hey, that's just
Okay.
a theory, a style theory. Keep looking sharp. Next time on Style Theory. Bridgerton, the show that has everyone kicking their feet over the romance while also side-eyeing them for those costumes.
Okay, so that will be the end of the reaction. Keep acting sharp and keep looking sharp like your gold Alyssa, and that's no kid. So, if you like the reaction, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell us what you want me to react to next. Until next time, this was a 10 out of 10 reaction. Well, you know what, let's give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, 9 out of 10. No cap. So anyway, I guess we can give it a 10 out of 10. Without further ado, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you want me to react to next. Until next time, your go to Alyssa. I'm out.